A 7-year-old boy had KKK written on his paper when he got it back in Paris Elementary School District and Palm Elementary. Okay? And it was hoods on top of the K's. It's one thing if a kid see K's, but it's another if there's a hood. Something's being taught in the household.
What's up, creators? Anthony Rudolph here, and welcome back to Born to Create. So, for you guys who don't know, Born to Create is a simple concept. If who or what you want to be doesn't exist, you go out there and you create the life that you want. So today I have an amazing creator on the line who's going to bless us with some knowledge bombs on how to really excel and create what you want. So, man, Jerry Greene from Black Student Advocate is here. Jerry, how are you doing today, sir?
Good morning, sir. How are you doing?
I am doing amazing. So first of all, thank you for taking the time on your schedule to be with us today on Born to Create. This is going to be a very good episode for our people to tune in to.
I'm excited. I'm glad to be here.
All right, so Jerry and I we met years ago. I don't remember the exact place we met, but we've been connected to social media for a long time. And I've been following your journey, following what you've been doing, and really been inspired by everything that you put out, and really your goal to educate and be an advocate for students. But let's rewind real quick and talk about your early business ventures, right? So where did you start in business, and why you started business?
Well, I'm gonna go way back to when I was a kid. So 5 years old, growing up in Michigan, I'm the 8th out of 9. And my father said, let's go outside and get some firewood. It was wintertime. So we go outside and it's cold, it's snow on the ground. And I said, Daddy, if you pick the wood up and put it in my hands, I'll carry it in the house. He said, dang, boy, you lazy. I said, no, I just knew then I didn't want to do manual labor for work. So I knew then. So then probably about 6 months later, some kind of way is we had 9 in our family. People across the street might have had 8 to 10. So we're outside playing, and some kind of way we got peanuts. So we're living on a road and cars going by, and we got a table trying to sell peanuts. And I'll start barking, get your peanuts, get your peanuts. And cars start stopping and buying. So I'm the youngest one, I'm the youngest son. And so my brothers and sisters, they went out to talk about, hey, keep it up, Tojo, Tojo, keep it up, keep it up. So that right there was really my first introduction to sales. Huh. And I was like, oh, okay.
5 years old.
5 years old.
Okay.
So as I continued to go through life, I just always looked at sales as, okay, it's okay. But being in the military, once I got out to military, I got out in Vegas. My last assignment, active duty, I worked at Area 51 in Las Vegas, and I got to military in 90. And I was washing my car one day, and a guy was there washing a limo. And we just struck up a conversation. I was like, wow, man, limo. I said, yeah, I'd like to work with you. And he's like, okay. He said, I'll call you. So I called him. This is probably like a Friday. So I called him on that Monday, called him on that Tuesday, no response. On Wednesday, I went out and got business cards made up. And it was called Greene's Car Wash Service, giving you the military inspection side or something like that. And what I would do is I was out of the military, but I still had my uniforms. So I would go pick up their vehicle, and I had pulled off my stripes and everything off my uniform. We'd go pick it up, and I had jump boots, and they would spit shine. So I would go pick up their vehicle at a military VDUs, go back, change clothes, clean their car up, and then take it back in my uniform again. So they never saw me being dirty, but they knew their car was clean. And one thing I learned also early on is when they open, first thing people do when they get a car detail, one of the first things they want to do is look at an ashtray and see if you're that detailed. I would put a business card in there. So when I open it up, it'll pop out like, got you.
That's true. The first thing you think was ashtray. That's true.
Yeah.
That really just represents, you as a person, because from as far back as I can remember your appearance always been like spit clean, just really, really, really upstanding. You're just clean. And did that come from the military, or that just always built into you just to represent who you are on the outside and how you feel on the inside?
Well, part military, but the other thing is like right now, all I wear is bow ties, simple white shirt, and black. And that's my official uniform. Because I've been, and I'm also been in real estate since 97, a licensed broker since 2000. And I wore all the fancy colors, bow tie, checkered, done all that. And I had clients that say, wow, Jerry, you're the sharpest broker I know. And I said, I didn't want to be known for dressing sharp. I wanted to be known for knowing the business. So I toned down and just went very, very basic. Because the thing is this right here, what I found. Subconsciously, if you see someone dress sharp and they don't know something, you be thinking, wow, I would thought they would have known that. But if they're not dressed or the uniform is dirty or something and you find a mistake, you subconsciously think, what should I expect? Look how they look. Look how they dressed. So it's just something subconscious that people think. And not only that, this is a regular tie. I tied to a bow tie.
Serious? Wow.
Yeah. And so the thing is this, is that when people see people in bow ties, they automatically give you upper hand thinking intellect. I'm saying the same thing I've been saying for 20 years, 25 years, but because now I wear a bow tie, people want to listen.
Wow. And they do.
Yeah. So other thing in real estate, I've knocked on over 50,000 doors, door to door. It was an official appointment. I would get up and go from 9 to 1 knocking on doors.
50,000?
50. So 150 to 200, 225 every day. It was an official appointment. Because in business, you need to know your numbers. So I knew if I knocked on that many doors, I would talk to so many clients, set so many appointments, then get so many listings, and that's how I can equate how much money I would make. And with that, I believe in self-development. I don't have any degrees, but I spent hundreds of thousands on self-development. And for personal coaching, I was paying the guy $1,000 a month for personal coaching. So I believe in self-development.
Yeah, personal development is huge. And it's amazing how because most entrepreneurs, most business people don't know that they have to really manage and measure what they're doing in order to get that result. Because most, I say, realtors will go out there and just start knocking on doors, not counting, well, it takes me 100 doors to get one deal or one list. They just go out there and knock, and then at the end of the month, they wonder why they're not, having that financial breakthrough, right? But you were able to really measure and then manage what you were doing. And
that was from the coaching.
Yeah.
Again, because when you get in real estate, 9 times out of 10, you're going to go to a big house, which means a C21, a Prudential, a Caldwell Banker. So they have training, but then you have too many times to think different than the herd. You got to go get outside training. And most of the times, people get in real estate as a second career or as a second option. Excuse me. They don't go in saying, I'm going to become a real estate agent. And many people get in real estate saying, I like houses. I like showing houses. So they get in real estate. It's just, it's backwards thinking, really, or it's a second nature. It's not looked at as a professional industry. And think about this. Does a doctor give you a trip to Hawaii if you come to his office?
No.
Why do real estate people? Because what happens is, if you're going to see a doctor, you're going to see them, your doctor, your dentist, your physician, or your lawyer from 9 to 5. Why is it with the biggest purchase from your life, you're going to see them after you get off work? Because the industry is full of gimmicks. And because of that, they're not respected as professionals.
Wow. I have never heard that before, but it makes
sense. And to be a good real estate professional, you need to be a financial planner. You need to be a salesperson. You need to be a marriage counselor, and you need to be a social worker. Because when you go in the home and you're talking to that person about their finances, It's so many other things that's going on that you have to manage to get that transaction closed.
Yeah. And I just want to go back to something just to make sure that I'm hearing you right. And I think I am. So if I had to go to the doctor for whatever, a sprained ankle, whatever, or to a checkup, right?
Right.
9 to 5 is their hours. So I would take off work because that's so important to me. I would take off
Right.
work, go see my doctor. But on the flip side, to go see a house, this major purchase, I would wait until I'm done with the work because it's not that prioritized. Or is it not that I don't see the agent as important as a doctor?
The professionalism of the agent, of the industry of real estate, people don't respect. Wow. Because understand, what other industry, insurance or real estate, can you take one class and make that kind of money?
Not many.
And that's why in California, they've been talking about for years that you're going to have to take more classes. Now it is, I think it's 3 classes now to get your real estate license. But before you took one class, and if you went out, then you popped a couple of deals, you could be making a good living. Right. And so let me say this also, for anyone out there who's going through something as being an entrepreneur. It took me 363 days to close my first deal in real estate. Wow. And 9 deals go bad. And I was in Orange County back from 90 to 2000. And I started in the game in 97 in real estate. And I didn't have a circle of influence in which I could sell deals, sell houses to. So when I got into business, people were popping 1 to 3 deals within 90 days because they were from Orange County or they had family there and they had someone they could sell a house to. I didn't. So I had to learn the business. And right at 2 years, I got my broker's license and I went independent. And them people, after they popped up 3 deals, they were out of the business because they didn't learn the business. And so real estate's a kind of business where the market's hot, people jump in. When the market's cold, they stay at their regular job. Just to be
wow.
Put like this. Okay, let me give you a joke, right? A joke is when I saw a cartoon and this guy was in the back of a taxi and he had the cabbie drive him all over town. And at the end of the ride, he said, okay, this is my stop. He can already get out. And the guy said, this is going to be an amount. He said, what? You're not going to drive me all over town for free like real estate people?
Yeah, that's... wow.
And when I say that, I make jokes like that because the thing is this, is if you called me and you said, hey, I want to see a house, I said, I need to see a pre-approval letter from the lender. They said, well, I got this kind of money. I said, I don't, no disrespect to you, but this is a professional transaction and I need proof. Yeah. So what you have is you have agents who will hear someone call and say, I want to see the house. They'll go down the street and show the house, and that's what we call a dirty buyer. You don't know if they're pre-approved or not. So it's no different with that it's no different than when, say, someone, a high dignitary, is going to come to town. If you're in the military, you're dealing with a clean crowd or a dirty crowd. A clean crowd is everyone who's been checked going into the building. A dirty crowd is just an open space you don't know. And same thing in real estate. You got a clean buyer, a dirty buyer. Why would I stopped doing open houses. Because you do an open house, you don't know who's coming in the house. Is that person a prospect or a suspect? They can be there just casing the house.
So then again, it's really up to the agent to take control of their career and say, hey, this is what I'm doing, and I'm going to be held at the same professional level as a doctor. It's up to the agent.
Correct. Because I prospected, then I would say, if someone called me and I'm asking them a question and they're being abrasive, I'll say, something? I'm just real busy, Anthony. I think Jerry can really help you better. I'm going to refer you to Jerry, and I think he can meet your needs. So now I'm going to get a 30% referral fee for selling my headache.
You pretty much mastered the game here.
Yeah, and I don't do it aggressive anymore because we didn't do anything wrong as real estate professionals. It was Wall Street and the industry imploded. Because usually real estate follows the job market. If people are getting jobs, people buy it, so it's following or dipping. But for the industry to implode like it did, it wasn't that people out here working was doing anything wrong, but now because of the new laws and everything, the people, the brokers and the mortgage individuals in the communities are the ones being punished, not Wall Street.
Wow. Knowledge right there. That's knowledge. So switching gears real quick. So we talk about how agents need to take control of their business. One second, this is playing. That's loud. So in taking control, you were reached out to by a lot of parents, right? Parents who are having challenges with their children in school. So talk to us about how you got involved to be an advocate for people, for parents to take back control of their kids' education.
Okay, so once the market dipped in 2008, then I started doing a Black Business Directory and also start doing Black Business Expos. And the reason being is because every time I closed a transaction, I was looking for Black contractors. So I already had a database. So when I start saying I'm going to do a directory, I start calling them. They say, hey, Jerry, we already made money with you. Yeah, I'll advertise with you. So it was a direct feed. So after doing that, I built a trust in the community in Southern California. Then parents just start calling me, Jerry, I'm going to have this problem with my baby. I know you know someone. And I'll be like, okay, what is the meeting? They say Tuesday. I say, oh, okay, I can flex. And I would go. And I'll just go. And just being there, being a third set of ears made a difference. But after 5 trips to the school, I said, I can no longer do this as a Southern California Black Business Expo. So then I came back, researched, and there was no one doing, had the title or the website, theblackstudentadvocate.com, which told me no one was advocating for Black students like that.
No, she did. So you talked about the 5 meetings. So what were the challenges that the parents were having with the kids in the school that they brought you in? Like, what were the meetings based on?
Well, one was for they wanted to expel a kid. You know, a lot of it was expulsion or just discipline or bullying. And so I was just, okay, let me just go. But like I said, being just a third set of ears and being able to ask questions and going in a bow tie, they didn't know if I was an attorney also. So a lot of times when I show up, their first question is, are you an attorney? I'll say no. But when I start quoting their code, they'll say, we need you to talk to our counsel, or they'll do what I call district up. When I go to a school site, say elementary school, they'll say, Mr. Greene, we need you to talk to the district. Then I talk to the director of student services or pupil services. Then I give them a couple of ed codes, and then they say, we need you to talk to our counsel, because they already know they're in trouble.
So this started the Black Student Advocate, right? So talk to me now about, how do you do this every single day? I mean, how often are you in schools, talking to parents, talking to teachers, talking to the education? How often are you doing that?
Well, basically, the first 2 years, okay, is I've done, now we're over 1,700 consultations. We represent both Black students and Black school employees, okay? And so what happens is either one could call us. And now we're not on site as much as for a phone consultation, because I went early to really get to training. So now I know how the room is set up for IEP 504, school board meetings. I know the lay of the land, and I can coach the parents now as to when you go in the room, this is what you're going to look up against. Because the scenario is this right here. A parent go to the school for IEP 504, and a representative will come out and go say, hey, Mr. Greene, we'll be right with you. They're setting up the chairs, so as soon as you walk in the room, you're going to see 5 to 8 people sitting across from you. That's the posture of to let them say, we know what we're doing, you don't. Many times it's just one parent that go in. And so they're going to use so many different terms and things like that on that parent that's going to blow that parent's mind, because it can be 90 minutes to 2 hours on an IEP of 504. And that's a lot of information. And then they push the document in front of the parent, expect the parent to sign right then. The parent has 10 days by law.
Right. Didn't know that.
Right. And let me tell you the other game they run is, so now you're in a meeting, and now you've been in the meeting half hour, whatever, and they'll say, Anthony, don't you have a meeting in a half hour? And basically, that's to let the clock start ticking in the parent's mind that I got to hurry up and we got to sign.
On purpose?
On purpose. Okay. As soon as they do that, I'll say, meeting's over. I don't want to put my client up under distress. We'll reconvene.
So you've actually done this in real
time? Oh, yeah. And I'll stop the meeting because I know what they're doing. See, understand, the school district has very little. It is really not in the game, quote unquote, educating Black students. It's not illegal, but it's just not popular. As long as they got Black students who are failing, they're going to get millions from the feds and the state. And they take that money, change 7 words in the grant, and push that to the IB or to the Abbott or to another area and continue to get the money.
So you say that they get millions for students failing? Failing.
If you look at California numbers, California Black students have the worst test scores, has the highest chronic absenteeism, and has the highest discipline rates. So how is this consistent if you're getting millions every year to address this problem?
It's not.
So really, the Black student is the new cotton.
The new what?
Cotton, C-O-T-T-O-N. Because they know they can make money off it.
Yeah.
So what happens is when I go in to advocate for a student, I'm up against a multi-billion-dollar education system, multi-billion-dollar criminal system, and multi-billion-dollar prison complex system. Because things that happen now, everything's criminalized. These site administrators don't want to do their job. They want to call the SRO, which is school resource officer, to make everything criminalized. That's an administrative job, but you don't want to do your job.
Powerful. That is powerful, brother. That is powerful.
Yeah. So let me give you something else. It's called the educational yellow line. And what that is that's when staff members know that students are being abused by staff or by teachers, but they don't want to cross the line because if they do, their career is over. So you have someone now who has a doctorate, okay? They have anywhere from $75,000 to $300,000 in debt. They have a mortgage, they have a car, they have a student loan, they might have a kid in college or saving for a college fund. And as soon as they cross the line, now they're going to start getting picked on and going to get out the district. And across the system, okay, you're going to be known that you're not a team player because you're not going to go alone to get along.
I'm speechless.
That's what I'm saying. This game, education is a cold game, you know, whereas you have, let me say right here in Riverside, and you can look at the paper about the Liberty Elementary School for Riverside USD. A staff member was abusing students, and the administrator covered it up. And they did this lawsuit against our USD. So what happens is you have individuals who got into education for one reason, but once they got in it, they found out it doesn't work. It's not about educating students. It's about money. So let me break the game down to you like this. 77 to 83% of the teachers are white women. Okay? So when you see a union, what do you see? You see Black folks out front lead the charge many times. Why? Because public schools many times are in cities, municipalities where Black folks are. Okay? So now the Black community support, yeah, teachers need to get more money. So now the teachers get a raise, they pay the union dues, okay? And the union dues, then they hire their politician, okay? So now the politician write bad policies that takes the right away from the parent to force the kid to continue to go to failing schools.
Wow. So it's literally all politics. They
Again,
kids, right? So
because it came down to, it comes down to money.
right.
You know, again, what other industry do you know where you can blame the customer?
Blame a customer?
Customer.
Which one?
You hear teachers, both black and white, and administrators saying black kids can't learn, black parents don't care.
I hear that all the time.
She does that. So that's when you come with the racism, because then at that point they're protecting the white woman and blaming the black woman.
Right. It's really amazing that you say this, because I've had these conversations with my mom, and you know her because she's a teacher as well.
Correct.
They were never this deep, but she says it's like it's not really about educating the student. It's more about collecting the money, and really I noticed this because when my kids would be absent in school, right? So I would get the phone calls if they're absent, more than once, there will be an issue. But I found out it's not really about they want them in the classrooms learning every day. Is that they get a check per head every single month for that kid being there. So when they're not there, they're not getting paid, right?
So in California, the average student is worth $12,000.
Wow.
And so what happens is they'll have a perfect attendance luncheon or awards, and you like, oh, my baby got perfect attendance. But that's about the ADA you're talking about. Average daily attendance, to check the box so we could get that $12,000 so they can't be on site every day. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So how's a kid get perfect attendance but can't learn anything? And I beat up the schools because they're the one getting the millions. They're the ones who have people who've been doing this 20, 30 years. People are brand new being parents. So I also hold parents accountable also, and I train them on how to advocate for themselves. Because when you start asking a couple of questions like, where's that at in your student handbook? Where's that at in the district policy? Where's that at in ed code? Now they got to answer questions. And many times you're going to find that it's not.
Yeah.
But they'll say things because parents don't know. And the other side of the game is this right here. Let me give you some history. In 1964, LBJ signed the law. It was two things that came out of that in 64. Was Head Start, in which everybody everybody heard of, and then follow through, in which he said that Title I parents should be involved in their kids' education. And if you want to know if you're a Title I parent or Title I school, it's if the kids get free lunch. Okay? So then in 94, President Clinton, 30 years later, signed a bill that said, 1% of Title I funds should go to parent involvement and parent engagement. That's why now you see an uptick in these African-American parent advisory councils. But that started back in 94, so you'd be 5 years behind the game. So what have you been doing with that money every year, school district? And so what happens is districts really don't want parents to get involved. They'll say they do, but when parents get involved, they learn their rights, and the district lose their power.
Wow.
So that's why they harass and bully the black parents and many other parents to really keep them away from the school, so then the district can stay in power.
Is this a nationwide issue, or is it
nationwide? No, nationwide. Nationwide. The same issues that's happening in California happen in New York, Texas, and all over.
So
go ahead.
My mom's involved in the African American Advisory Council, right?
Right.
So her biggest challenge is she asking me, well, how do you get more parents involved? If the parents are not involved, how do we get, or how do teachers that care, advocates that care like you, how do you get more parents involved?
Well, let me tell you first that you got to do this right here. Excuse me. You got to stop with the institutionalized racism.
Okay.
And marketing. and they're one and the same.
Okay.
You got to stop with just a robo dialer, and you got to stop with just putting flyers in kids' backpacks at home.
Right.
So what you have to do, because why does everything have to happen at a school district sandbox? How come you can't go into the community where parents live in their day rooms and in community centers when you don't have power? The whole name of the game is when you go to the district, you're already showing I'm in control. And also, the actual APACs do not supposed to be ran by school districts. It's parent-led. But what happens, you still have school district employees in the room to monitor the conversation. So it's all game.
Wow. This is education right here.
It's all game. You know, and again, think about this. Your mom was a teacher, so you probably didn't have issues. But think about at least 5 to 10 of your friends. How many of them did not have a problem with school and the teachers?
Not many. Because even I did, because my mom became a teacher after I graduated high school. So
okay.
To school, she was working. But yeah, I mean, if you look at it, yeah, they have had issues, and I mean, even going back to my daughters now who are in high school, it's funny to me. Some of the things that you're saying, I'm going back to certain meetings that that we've had, and I've been in the meetings where I've had the IEPs, right?
Right.
And the last one, I kind of woke up because my daughter, who's now a senior, they've had her on IEP for last 3 years, right? And the last meeting, the whole thing was because my thing is like, you can get out of this, right? You can say, you know what, I can do better, right? But the conversation is that, she's struggling. She needs help. These are the words they're saying in front of me, in front of her. She's struggling. She needs help. She's not ready yet. So she's believing this, right? So she said, you know what? I'll stay here in the IEP because I don't think I can do it. But it's all what they're telling us. And then the thing is like, well, we need to get her ready so she can go out there and file a job application. That was their goal. To have her be able to leave school to be able to follow a job application. So that showed me there that the best interest for her or my student wasn't from them. So it's like now I have to go home and educate my child on how to operate and not really allow the labels of you can't do it, it's too hard for you, she's struggling. I had to remove those, and being 3 years later, it's tough. Right, because they're conditioned to that environment.
So let me break a couple of things down for you.
Sure.
I'm gonna back it up. So when I was in kindergarten, they wanted to hold me back, and my mom said, "No, push into first grade. Let's see what happens." So they pushed me to first grade, and they held me back. And it wasn't. And today they would have labeled me ADD or ADHD. Okay. But the thing was, I was just too immature to be in school. So we hear about red shirt freshmen, but we don't hear about red shirt 5-year-olds. You understand what I'm saying? So we put in our kids in the system, and many times they might not be ready for the system to sit down because we are animated people. That's just who we are. And so they're not ready for our students, and they wasn't ready for me, but my mom was a big advocate for us, all 9 of us. So really what I'm doing now is legacy. And so with that, now, and we see it in the white community when we see them holding their 8th grader back a year, so when he go to 9th grade, he's stronger for sports.
I just learned about that like 4 months ago. That's
yeah.
crazy.
Yeah. So now he come in as a freshman when he should be a sophomore, but he's bigger and stronger. So now he can compete. So you see that. But what happens is, just like you said, now they continue to condition, and the school used to be called the killing field.
The school did?
Yeah, because they should kill our kids' ambition, their drive, because they would say, sit down, little Jerry, sit down, little Jerry, sit down, little Jerry. And after a while, it goes back to John Maxwell, the law of the lid. Either you're going to break from that leadership or you're going to stop trying because you keep topping out. And that's when our kids start thinking, I can't do it. I can't do it. And something else, no school should be telling the parent that baby have ADD, ADHD, not a teacher. Because that's not their job. They're not an evaluator. That's not their job. But we see things like that. So we got to understand that the best thing you could do for your student is advocate. And if they're going to call you loud, then you're going to be loud. That's okay. Because anytime you put boundaries on manipulators, and that's what school districts are, because I've seen from the kindergarten aide up to the superintendent lie. And I call them a lie in a meeting in a minute. But because I know their game, now they have to deal with me differently. You know, when parents say, okay, I'm just calling a black student advocate. No, we should take care of this. So it's just things like that. But the parents need to understand they're in control because a school district is a service contract, no different than a plumber, a painter, or electrician. And they're not educating our kids. So understand this, what you're saying. Say if it's $12,000 a year, how is it that after a $144,000 investment in your student being your daughter, that all she could do is come out with the skill set that the school has set her up with is to go get a job at Amazon? That's why I said they're the only ones who can blame the parent. And they'll act like it's your fault, but your kid is spending 6 or 7 hours with them a day. And even if a kid is not starts off at a 3rd grade level and they're at 5th grade, make some advances if you're there every day with that kid. And let me say this, there's some teachers that's doing great work, but it's a tough system because the system really is set up against teachers many times also, those who want to advocate for black students.
Wow. So us as parents, right, as parents who have kids in school, what's our main objective? How much time should we be spending with our kids? Like, what's our main objective to achieve right now today?
Minimum 12 times a parent should be on site a school year. And in California, if you work at a site that have 25 or more employees, up under the labor code, you're due 40 hours a year to go to your kid's school to handle your kid's business. That's a law. And I'm sure many other states have it also. So as soon as you get the student schedule for the year, you need to look and see when parent night is and all these other things that's going on and tell your boss, I need to take this time off to be there for my student. Because how can we talk generational wealth, can't read or write?
Yeah. Yeah. So I mean, even us as parents, because I go to all my kids' open houses, back to schools. I do, and honestly, Jerry, most of the black parents aren't there.
They're not. But so let me say this right here too. How many family or friends can you think of, like I just asked you, had issues? That situation was traumatic to that parent. So they don't want to go back in that environment. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So now though, if I go for parent, because I'm gonna set the tone, it's a different environment for that parent, a different experience. That's why I say things need to happen off-site where the school district can't control it. Because it's about control. Because what happens is we have right now, and I'll just be blank with it, we have too many black organizations who are co-opted. If a black organization doesn't have their own way of earning money without just sponsorship, chicken dinners, and things like that, then you always going to have your tongue where it can be split. How can you really advocate for the Black community if you're not speaking out against how we're being treated as citizens and how our babies are being treated? And this right here is going to go to pastors. If you're a Christian and you're a pastor and you're Christ-like, because that's what Christian means, who are you advocating for? You're not even speaking out for that baby you baptized or you Christian, and their schools get dogged because we have too many pastors and spiritual leaders who want to be politicians. They want to be friends with the people who are abusing the Black community. And with that, that's why I'm independent in ways that I make my money so I can speak independent. And I don't care if you like me or not. I'm on my passion, my purpose, and my call is to advocate for the Black community.
Yeah, in most cases, most advocates who advocate passionately like you are not liked. I mean, but that's just part of the part of the game.
Right.
Done.
I mean, but it's true. But also the other side is you got to have your own money.
Yeah.
When you're in that lane and you taking donations, you know, let me say this right here. There's an organization that their main sponsor was a big corporate 500 company. Okay. So now if any Black employee had a problem at that company, you couldn't speak against them because they're your employer. And that's the issue we got to look out for. You know, it's like NAACP. How are you going to say you don't want no charter schools? You're going to put a moratorium on charter schools when our kids are failing in these public schools. It don't make sense. That's not really advocating for the Black community. I'm for anything that works. Public, private, online, hybrid, doesn't matter to me. As long as the kid is getting their needs met and they're going to be able to be a productive citizen, that's what I'm for.
Right.
Let me give you this right here too. What other industry don't want competition? Meaning that the teachers union pays these politicians to try to cut out the competition for public schools.
They pay them?
When they endorse them.
Yeah, endorsement.
Endorsement. Mm-hmm. There's money coming with that. So let me give you something about Elizabeth Warren. Elizabeth Warren says she want to give millions, okay, to HBCUs. But you're standing with public schools only. So Black kids can't graduate. How they gonna get the HBCUs? So her message is not congruent.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
So this, I mean, I can, you know, even though we're on a Zoom call, I can feel the passion through the action.
Yeah.
Where'd the passion come from? I mean, you went from entrepreneurship to doing real estate, and now you're advocating, which I can tell is your calling. But where did this passion come from?
Well, you know something? Looking back, I've always been an advocate. I remember riding the school bus, and kids are made, and I think we might have been 4th, 5th grade, where a kid would get on second to the last stop, and a kid would slide to the outside so the kid couldn't sit down. And I would say, slide over and let him sit down. Or I would move and say, slide over and let him have my seat. So that, and even being an athlete in high school, I was advocating. So it's just always been that. And also with that, I advocate for veterans. So I probably help 50 veterans across the country get their VA benefits. So my thing is, I just don't like to see people abused. What's right is right, is wrong is wrong. And I'm the Black student advocate, but I've advocated and went to parent-teacher conferences for Asian students, for white students, for Hispanic students, because what's right is right. But I know because of the numbers that when the Black student rises, everything's going to be better for everyone.
So let's jump real quick to a big topic. A big topic now out there is bullying, right?
Yes.
Bullying is huge in school, and it's because I guess students follow other students, lead or lack thereof leadership. There was a big incident, I'm sure you heard, in Reno Valley at what it was Landmark, right?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Where a student was actually killed because of bullying. And,
right.
and from my understanding is that there were being reports of this kid being bullied by these same kids over a extended period of time, right? How much effect does bullying, cause in the kids' education? I mean, is it that big where it's causing them not to focus, not to do their work, or is it more of just the home environment? Like, talk to me about bullying.
Okay, so let me give you two things, okay? The largest bullies in most communities are school districts.
Okay.
When we first started, a third of calls we got was from staff bullying students.
Wow, so it's not just the kids, it's also the staff.
No. But you look at from the leadership in this country, 45 is a bully. So it just comes down. But again, also, so you have that when a administrator, teacher say Black parents don't care, Black students can't learn, that's bullying.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So how do you have a bullying policy when you're the biggest bully? So all that's a facade because it's money. So what you're talking about at Landmark, okay, is the student relatives and friend told the administrator, say on a Thursday, that the student that got killed was being bullied. The administrator took off Friday and Monday. And the incident happened Monday. So he got struck, fell, hit his head. Okay? And so, but these students that assaulted him were honor roll students. They weren't bad students. It's not like you could say they had bad behavior or anything like that. It's just a sad incident that a student had to die behind this. But it's an institution problem across the country. And they had other problems at Landmark prior to that. They even had race riots there last year. So it's not that it's just an isolated incident. Excuse me. It's across the country and it's in school districts. And now because of that, the Sheriff Department of Riverside has a zero tolerance policy in Rudolph Valley Unified School District for any kid, I think it's 12 and up, that fights, they're going to juvenile. So that's their zero tolerance. But you had to come to that because it got so outrageous. So now let's change lanes. Now in Temecula Valley High School, you have a sister down there who's being bullied with racism and things like that. And they just had a rally the other day at the school, I think it was Tuesday, 2 days ago. So throughout Riverside County and throughout the country, because I get calls from all over the country also, is that you have an uptick in racial incidents many times because of what they see coming from the president and because of the fear that he continued to put out that parents are scared of. Because when you have a kid, one of my first calls was, and I went out and advocated for a parent, a 7-year-old boy had KKK written on his paper when he got it back in Paris Elementary School District and Palm Elementary. Okay? And it was hoods on top of the Ks. It's one thing if a kid see Ks, but it's another if there's a hood. Something's being taught in the household.
Yeah. And they bring it back to the schools.
And they bring it to the school. So when you start talking about bullying, you got to understand that schools is just a common place where kids meet. They're bullying on social media, okay? So let me give you the legal side of it. In California, Ed Code 48900.234 ABCD talks about when a kid is being bullied and now the kid can't learn, mental, they're physical when they say they're sick, they don't want to go to school, when they can't participate in extracurricular activity after school programs. That's a policy that I hold the school districts accountable to, because it's their job to maintain order and make sure it's a safe and teachable environment for the students. That's the basics. The basics. And they're not doing that.
Wow. So do you see, I see the BSA as something that's very powerful and much needed for our society. Do you plan or do you see advocates like yourself actually in schools daily, like being that advocate, like daily, like we're here to advocate for students? Or
well, that's the parents' role, because understand this right here, okay? As we continue to train, along with other organizations across the country, train parents on their rights. And if I say parent, be on site minimum 12 times a year. So just think if you had 200 parents on site 12 times a year. I know when my mother would come to school, me and all my boys got together. You know what I mean? So now when parents are on site, the whole environment's going to change in the school. Okay. Because they like, Miss Greene's over there, she don't play. Yeah. If she don't get you here, when you come to her house, she's going to get you. Right. And that's when we really hit a community. Right. That's when we really, parents gave each parent the latitude to straighten up their kid.
Yeah.
So it's not advocates, it's parents empowered.
Gotcha. All right, perfect. So I'd like to ask my guests to do something for me. So I want you to talk to the parents. So give us parents like 3 power moves that we can make today to help us be more proactive in advocating for our kids. 3 power moves that we can make.
Go to the school board meetings and sit closest to the front as you can. And if you have an earpiece, you can have your earpiece in playing music. But act like you're taking notes. About a 3rd or 4th school board meeting, someone's going to come to you and ask who you are.
Really?
Because they want to know what you're writing down. When you go to a meeting, never go by yourself. Even if you got to call someone to be on the phone as a 3rd set of ears, that's powerful, because now the district's going to deal with you differently. And whenever you get a call from the school, ask, where's that at in Ed Code? Where's that at in the student handbook? And where's that at in the district policy? And you're going to see the difference of how the district treats you.
So how do parents find the schedule for our school board meetings?
They go online to the school board, to the school district website, and it's going to have the meeting and the agenda. And again, what can happen is a parent, they can just have a group, and one parent say, I'm going the 1st month of every quarter. Another parent, I'm going the 2nd month of every quarter. Another parent. So you don't have to show up at all of them, but you do show that you're watching. And not only that, the parent in a group, they take a picture. It could be 5 to 10 parents, and then post it on their social media pages saying, we're watching Rudolph Valley USD, we're watching Val Verde, we're watching. Just that alone is going to get other parents to start piping in and saying, I had this problem. Right. Because once parents take the power, the school district's going to have to act differently. Because, see, understand, LCAP in California, which is the Local Control Accountability Plan, which talks about how money's being moved and how it's being used. Accountability. Yeah. They shouldn't even have accountability in there, because the schools are failing and nothing's changing. Yeah. And from educators I talk to that have been in education 20 or 30 years or longer, they say every 10 years they change the acronyms and still not changing their behavior. So parents can't follow the acronyms. So understand, it's all a facade.
So be educated.
Be educated. And the thing is if you need to go in and just ask them 3 questions, you're going to be dealt with different. You don't have to yell. You don't have to cuss. And many times when I go into meetings, all I'm doing is open up the line of communication for the parents. Is I'll say, Mr. Greene, you have something to say? Because I give them an audience. The district many times or the site don't want to hear the parent until now they got the Black student advocate in the room. And I tell the district in meetings, and just like I'll say here, the James Baldwin, I can't believe what you say because I see what you do.
Yeah. So those 3 questions are, where's that in the ed code, the student handbook, and where else?
At the district website.
Okay, cool. Cool. So now I have that locked.
Yeah.
Okay. So this is all valuable information. It's powerful. So how do we find you? How do parents find you?
Well, let me give you what I feel, and I don't know how much time we got. Are we on? Okay, let me give you my solution to the school system issue. And so we have the Black student advocate, in which we advocate for both employees and school students. Then we have prepaid advocacy services, right, in which school district employees pay us a monthly fee, just like another legal service that's out there right now, okay? Because even with them having a union, my clients still say, Jerry, I want you on the phone. And with that, again, giving another set of ears, because understand this right here. The unions, prior to last year with the Janus law, school employees were forced to be a union employee.
Really? Okay.
Yes. So the union had the marketing of the school district for membership. So they're in cahoots. So why would a union want to hold school districts accountable? Because that's their marketing leg. So only time you're going to see a big ruckus with unions is when they try to get more money to get higher dues to pay the politician. You don't see unions out there standing on the front line saying Black students are failing.
Yeah.
So you understand what I'm saying? Yeah. So now we have the Black student advocate, we have the prepaid advocacy services, and now also we have Black Ed Join, which is our website, which should be coming online for the next 2 weeks to 30 days to recruit Black teachers.
Okay.
Because school sites and districts should reflect the community. So if you have 6%, like Riverside, the 7% Black students, you'd have 6 to 7% Black teachers and Black staff. And once we get them on site, now we can advocate. So now we can have them who then can really do the job in which they got into education for, is to teach and advocate. But we have to protect the teachers who want to do the right thing and get rid of the ones who don't.
I love that. I absolutely love that. So you advocate for the student, for the parents, and for the staff.
Right.
Wow, okay.
Because the staff sees what goes on.
Yeah.
And I get calls from staff and say, Jerry, this is going on right here. And I do a pop-up. Oh, hey, guy safety, I heard you had this incident right here at the school site. Can you tell me what's going on with that? Oh, sir, we're still handling that, and I'll give you a call back. Fair enough.
Why did you leave California? We need you out here.
Well, because to scale nationwide. So right now, we have both our West Coast office in Southern California and our corporate headquarters in Oklahoma City, right, which now means it's easier to get the whole picture of the United States, and we're setting up advocates throughout the country. Yeah. the other thing is that I encourage and I dare anyone to get in this lane of advocacy. Mm. What other business do you know that encourages people to get into business to be their competition? Why do you want that? Because then the Black community is going to win. The Black student is going to win. But you have to have the heart to step up to the podium and speak at school board meetings and hold white folks accountable. And many Black folks are too scared to do that.
Why are they scared?
Because, one, they're not independent in their money. So let me tell you what happened with me. So I get a call. So on October 12th, 2018, at Riverside USD, a Black sister was referred to as Cotton Pickin' Kayla. I get the call on the 14th. I meet with the parents on the 15th, and she was called that by a white coach. I get the call on the 15th. On the 14th, I meet with the parent on the 15th. We meet at the school, and on the 16th, the coach was fired from his position. But he's still a teacher. Okay?
He's fired from being a coach, but not a teacher.
Yes. Well, because again, the union's going to back that teacher as much as they can. Why? Because union dues. Like I said, they're not there except to protect their paid members to continue to get that money. So he got let go. Then on the 19th, we met with the administrator who we met with earlier that week, and he told us what could happen, what couldn't happen. That afternoon, I done a video of the parent, mother, and father, and I put it on Facebook.
I saw that.
I put a video out against a district. I tagged the district, hashtag the district. Because I'm coming straight for you, okay? And so then on the 20th and 21st, you have people in Riverside calling around saying, who's this guy, Jerry Greene? And my people said, oh, he's a Black student advocate. You know what the number 2 question was?
Where can I find him?
Who can we call? They said, Jerry don't have a handler. So they're so used to calling individuals because individuals have jobs, things like that, to put the squeeze play on you. Or they look at your finances and say, hey, we want to squeeze him, so they do that. So that happened. So then I met with the district, RUSD, January 10th, 2019, and I'm asking them, where's your equity plan? You're graduating 38 to 45% of Black students graduate are college and career ready, which means 55 to 60% are not. So we go around 15 minutes, and the assistant superintendent, and his coordinator, they finally say, we don't have an equity plan. Okay? Now the Black student is failing, but they have no plan to address the issue. But more than that, on October 16th, 2017, the superintendent tasked the board to come up with an equity plan. So almost 18 months later, they still didn't have a plan. Okay. So the assistant superintendent says, Jerry, we're looking for a partner. So I lean back and I said, if you're not down for Black excellence and Black student achievement, we're not a good fit. There was nothing else he could say, because they're so used to bringing Black folks in and co-opting them and giving them a contract, so now they're lame ducks. And when they found they could do that to me and my organization, they said, we have an issue. Yeah. And I told them, I said, I'll advocate for a parent, and if it becomes a lawsuit, once we bring a lawyer in, I'll get paid through the lawsuit at the settlement. Blew their mind. They're like, yeah.
Wow.
But you have to be independent.
Yeah.
To truly be an advocate. If not, they're going to try to co-opt you.
Yeah. Well, let me tell you this. This podcast, I mean, and forgive me for being so silent, but for me, it's education, right? I'm taking it all in. It's more of a exchange, but I'm so blown away right now. I'm speechless, but I'm being educated myself on this topic because I knew this much to the big picture of what you're talking about, because it's the big picture, right? And what you think you know, fails in comparison to what you actually do know, right? So for parents to know, going back to my last question, is that how do we find you and get in contact with you in case we need advocacy?
My phone number is 833-925-1957. That's 833-925-1957. Website is the Black Student Advocate. So let me give you something else where this is just not humbug. So what happened, so I'm going to put you on the spot, significant, on September 25th, 1957.
Ooh, I don't know.
That was the integration of the school system by the Little Rock Nine.
Gotcha. Okay.
So that's why our number is 925, September 25th, 1957. And this crest right here is what we celebrate is September 25th every year. Now we have National Black Student Advocate Day. So last year we had Oklahoma, California, and Alabama celebrated. This year we expect to have 10 plus states that celebrate that day. And what that is we just go to the school and we just welcome the students doing a high five, mid mob, mob, just standing there in the gap, telling the students to have a great day. Because we have to continue to encourage the student. So let me say this right here. I'm part of the team because it's a three-legged stool. It's parent, it's school, and it's community. But because I come in many times in crisis, it doesn't look like I'm a team player. So when I come in holding the school district accountable, I'm still holding the parent accountable also. Because the parent don't know. The school district don't. The parent don't. So as I educate them through the process, that's when I tell them they got to become the leader of the team. And they have to advocate for their student. But it's just so lopsided that I got to come in so aggressive to get my point across.
Yeah. Wow. Wow. So I was going to ask you anything in closing, but you just closed us. I just want to first, thank you for
Thank you, sir.
this time, because it's been enlightening for me, right? Because now I'm armed and equipped with things that I need to do to go and be there for my students and be there for my school, and also be there for the administrators, right? Because we have to look at all three aspects to make sure this thing goes right. Yeah.
Okay, so let me stop you right there. Let me say this right here. Even though I go in so aggressive, I have administrators that I work with, okay? And it's a fine line. And when I say that, I can say things in the community that they can't say. And I do, okay? But I do it in love and instruction. I'm not bullying our parents, because anytime I hear someone say, our parents don't care, I'll say, don't give me that, And also, I could do and say things at board meetings and get agendas moved that community members want to see. A lot of calls initially we got was because parents didn't want to be embarrassed because everyone on the dais at the school board meeting have degrees, masters and doctorates. And it's like, Jerry, I said, nowhere else I could go, But that's the thing is, And also, I'm a media company who do advocacy. That's the other thing. And it comes back to your initial show. We never talked about it. I created my own lane, being a media company who advocate for Black students and Black employees and expose the districts. So that's the real niche of what I do.
Let's talk about that real quick. So media
Okay.
company, right? So
yes.
What do you do within the media company?
So have a publication I'm going to relaunch, which is the Black Student Advocate. Hang on, let me grab it real fast. Hang on one second. You saw me, I probably saw me, I'm in my shorts. So this is the paper.
Okay.
Okay. And so we issue the paper, we're gonna start doing it. And the next issue, because now versus just the Inland Empire, is gonna be a national brand, and we're gonna have issues from all across different states in there. But also in the paper is the issues and violations school districts had, we posted.
Okay.
You know, also we're working on a book, Real Stories of the Black Student Advocate. So on issues we have, I have one of my reporters do a 400-word story, and we could do the press release with it, or it's just going to be in the book. You know, because I'm always creating opportunities to where I can stay independent.
Yeah.
That's the name of the game, is create opportunities. You know, yeah. So that, then we do the Facebook Live. We interview the parent. We expose it. We put it on YouTube. You know, we go to school board meetings where we speak. We have the camera on the superintendent, who's the leader of the school district. Okay, and because understand, the superintendent is the leader, but the board is the management of the district. So it's a fine line how they work together with each other. Yeah.
So in the beginning, you said you were 53, right?
Say? 53, yeah, 53. Yeah.
You have the fire of like a 20-year-old, right?
Okay, well, okay, let me give you something about that. Yeah. I've been off pork, red meat, soda over 30 years. I've been off chicken and turkey almost probably 19 months. Okay. I am a 100% disabled veteran. Again, I used to struggle to get out of bed because when I was eating the chicken, because of what they were shooting into it, I was inflamed. But since I got off that, so much better. But with that, I've been a fitness instructor over 35 years.
No, you have been, yes.
Yeah. And when I was in the Air Force, I was a medic for 7. You know, so it's just a lot of different things is that I've always done on the side so I can stay independent. That's always been my key, is always have 2 or 3 revenue streams, because when one's not pumping, you get somebody from somewhere else, you keep it moving.
Right.
You know.
Real quick in closing, talk to the students real quick. Give the students something.
Students, your parent is your biggest advocate. When your parent go to school, don't make your parent look like a fool. Tell your parent the truth, so then they have the option and know fully what's going on. Because what happens is parents, when we first started, parents would go in off the handle, and the teacher popped that laptop and say, on this day, Jerry done this, on this day, and give the whole tale of the tape, and now the parents looking like a fool, and they have no position to defend. So students, that's your best route, because when I go in with a student, and I tell them also, don't have your parent look like a fool. I'm just coming here to keep open up lines of communication and let them know where they're out of line with their ed code. Because what happens is school district is going to spend. One of the worst things parents can do is tell a school district what's going on in the household.
One of the worst things?
Worst things.
Okay.
Because now when you go to the school and say, why is little Jerry not getting this lesson? They say, remember little Jerry when you said Your electricity was off? No, that's really why they're going to spin it. They're not going to take and say, we have this, we need to do better. They're going to spin it, try to put it back on the parent.
Yeah.
Why? Because they're defending the white woman.
Well, guys, you've heard it from Jerry itself. I'm just totally blown away, and I can't think of a better time to do this interview than now, because even parents like me, we need this advocacy. We need to be educated on what to do, what to say, how to stand up for ourselves and our kids. And Jerry created this. He's been creating since he was 5 years old, from wood to peanuts to real estate, and now he's creating an advocacy for our people. So creativity is what this podcast is about. So I encourage you guys to keep creating, keep what you want, keep pushing forward, because you're all born to create. So thanks for watching, guys, and see you on this episode of Born to Create. Have an amazing day. Peace to you.